This is All of It on WNYC. I'm Allison Stewart. Welcome back. This hour, we're talking about a couple of shows that are nominated for Outstanding Musical at this year's Lucille Lortel Awards. Now we're going to take a trip to a town called Mud Dirt, the setting of Bigfoot, a new musical co-written by Amber Ruffin.
Mud Dirt, a hell of a town. What's mostly wet and gross and smelly and brown? Whose population is steadily going down? Whose happy face is a slightly smaller frown? Mud Dirt, a hell of a town.
Mud Dirt is the home of the musical's titular character, played by Grey Henson. Bigfoot lives on the outskirts of town, which is situated somewhere between a chemical plant, a toxic river, and a hill with an imminent mudslide. Bigfoot's mother, yep, he's got a mom. Her name is Francine, a normie, played by Crystal Lucas Perry. He grew up in the woods because Francine feared how the townspeople would treat him. That fear turns out to be warranted when a corrupt mayor uses Bigfoot as the boogeyman to stir up an angry mob. Meanwhile, the mayor pockets the money from a brand new water park. If that sounds like a zany plot, it is. And it's also hilarious and carried by a great musical score and some seriously talented voices with Tony nominees all over the place. Bigfoot, a new musical, is running at the New York City Center now through April 26th. It's nominated for Outstanding Musical at this year's Lucille Lortel Awards. Amber Ruffin began writing the show back in 2014. And when she joined me in studio to talk about it, along with Grey Henson and Crystal Lucas Perry, I started by asking Amber why it took her 12 years to bring Bigfoot to the stage.
We really were like, hey, we did it. What a great show. The end. And then the world started becoming the plot of Bigfoot. And then we were like, well, it might be time to revisit this. Mm-hmm. And I feel like every day the real world becomes more like Mud Dirt. So I'm sorry if I'm a prophet of some kind.
So, Grey, when you heard about this idea of a musical about Bigfoot, how long did it take you to say, I want to play Bigfoot?
Not very long. There was a reading of it that I couldn't be a part of, and I was super bummed because I think it's so rare to find new material that is this funny and with music that is this catchy. And so, yeah, I jumped on it the moment I heard I was invited to the party.
It's so interesting to look in your eyes because the last time I saw you were in a big, giant fursuit.
I know. I look different IRL.
But your eyes are very expressive.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. That's good to hear that it breaks through because I do worry that I get lost in the fur.
No, you don't get lost in the fur. You don't get lost in
lost
the fur.
Lost in the fur is the yes.
The behind the scenes, lost in the fur.
Lost in the fur.
Ooh.
So, Crystal, you've done all kinds of theater. I saw you in 1776. You were amazing in that. You've done Shakespeare. Mm-hmm. What is the similar about this show compared to the other shows that you've done?
Oh, goodness. I would have to say the commitment is still there. I mean, you have to go full force in. We've got some great characters in the show that, Amber and the team have, created. And so leaning all the way in so that you can feel something at the end of the night is kind of what, brings it all full circle. Yeah.
So you've worked on Broadway before, obviously. Amber, in
yes, Some Like It Hot and The Wiz,
yeah. Yes, those are both great shows.
Yay.
How did working on those shows help you develop Bigfoot after the 2014 version of it and had to continue to develop the show?
Working on those shows helped me develop Bigfoot because the development process for TV, for a movie, for a podcast, all of it is so wildly different than the process for a Broadway show. So really getting in there at night after every show and then writing however long it takes and then waking up and getting to work, that is like unheard of. That's nowhere else. There's nowhere on earth that requires you to be awake at midnight talking about what rhymes with fart. That never happens. So I feel
Do you like that? Do you like that sort of work around the clock energy?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was very fun. But, I'm from late night. So if you have more than an hour, you're a rich man. So I really did. I really loved I liked it a lot.
So, Grey, you were in Shucked, Elf, a Tony nominee for Mean Girls. So what does Bigfoot have in common with those shows? And then what's a little different about it?
It's funny. I was just talking about this because I feel typecast. I mean, I know obviously Bigfoot is very different from Buddy the Elf or Damien Hubbard in Mean Girls, but there's a through line of sensitivity and like sort of honest goodness that I think I tap into through, years of work on anxiety and growing up as a little gay kid in Macon, Georgia. And so, I think that's the similarity for me. But I also just love musical comedy. I think when you can do it well, there's nothing like it. Because especially in a show like Bigfoot, which I'm sure people write off as being, oh, that's a silly new musical, 90 minutes off Broadway. It's got a lot of intelligence and smarts. And I think when humor can teach you something, that's like when it's working at its best. Yeah.
Part of the show, which is a great part of the show, is it's sort of broad comedy. So what is the key, Crystal, to making broad comedy work and not come off as corny or cringy, but really make it laughable, make it just enjoyable?
Yeah, I would say a big thing is pace. Not sitting too much in it, but also the discovery. The final character in our play is when the audience is there, right? And we learn so much from them. We learn so much about what's landing, about what people are picking up, and also we had a really lovely long tech process, which allowed us to be able to really kind of throw things up on the wall and see what sticks and see what's see what we need and what we don't. But it's a lot of listening. It's a lot of trust, and it's also just about the assembly of the people in the room. We've got the right people in the room to really kind of make things work. So when you combine all of those things together, that allows for the things that need to come to the surface and reveal themselves to take place, for sure.
Amber, what is something that just slaps in the room once you got the audience in? You thought, I didn't know that was going to be as funny as it was.
A joke that hits hard consistently. Well, listen, I don't want to ruin any of them, but you said slaps, and that makes me think of the I don't know. I feel like they're all 11th. The
actual slaps.
That's true. There are actual slaps in the show.
Multiple.
That's a good job. Good job, Grey. There are multiple actual slaps in the show. They're not real, everyone. It's stage slaps. But that joke hits really hard. Pun intended.
Yeah, there's a lot of physical comedy in the show.
It's more physical comedy than I thought. But I feel like one by one, we realized everyone was capable of it. And so then it just got more and more out of hand. And that's where the show is. It's out of hand.
Yeah.
I'm speaking with writer and creator Amber Ruffin and actors Crystal, Lucas Perry, and Grey Henson about Bigfoot, a new musical that's running at the New York City Center through April 26th. I have my glasses on now. Okay, the town is called Mud Dirt. It's surrounded by toxic chemicals. It's got a super corrupt mayor. Where did you draw from to get at Mud Dirt? What town and experience?
Thanks for assuming that. Nowhere, nothing. We just wrote what we thought was the silliest thing we could think of. And then, but real life creeps in, right? So we just thought, how far can we go while still being believable? You know what I mean? Like, how silly can it get before people are like, no, thank you. So I feel like that's where the show resides, is at the edge of silliness, and you can still care about these characters, which is not at all what you asked, but that's where we've ended up.
Amber, this is set in the 80s.
Yeah, baby.
Aside from some great suits on Alex Moffat. And there were jokes about Reagan in the script. Why did you decide to set it in the 80s?
Girl, first of all, we did it because we couldn't stop making jokes about Hulk Hogan. This show was just a vehicle to get jokes about Hulk Hogan out. But then he died. So then we were like, oh, God, we got to pivot. So we cut all the Hulk Hogan jokes. But, I mean, I guess it's set in the 80s. Now, that is real. But it's also set in the 80s because it was a extremely fun time. And after we wrote a couple songs for the show, we were like, this is the 80s. Because of the way the show kind of ended up sounding. And I think it's to the show's benefit, because when I think of 80s, I go, oh, yeah, that was fun.
It was
Especially from 2026. The 80s was it.
80s were good.
Yeah.
Remember them well. Bigfoot and his mom are really close, Gray.
Oh, yeah.
How come they're close? She sent him to live in the forest, but they remain close. Why do they remain close?
I think he sort of just craves the comfort that you can only get from a mother, right?
Yeah.
And she has protected him his whole life. And so I guess it's a naivete, but it's also just umbilical. And so, yeah, there's a lot of sweetness in that. But it sort of, it not infantilizes the character, but it sort of makes him the sweet innocent, which I think you need when someone just needs their mother in that really youthful way. But yeah, she represents warmth, comfort.
Francine, why does she send her son to live in the woods by himself?
Oh gosh, Francine just wants to protect her son. You know, I think one of the beauties of Francine is that she is able to see the heart in others, and also kind of see through things in a way that both elevates and lifts them, and also just appreciates. And I think, again, the one person that teaches Francine as she's trying to teach the town is her son. The way that she's constantly surprised by him, the way that she's constantly just in awe of how he's able to literally have his huge presence make such a huge impact on people in the way that you wouldn't expect, kind of is something that she catches on to very early on. But that's her baby. That's the one she loves, and she'd do anything to protect her son the same way her son would do anything to protect her.
Crystal, Francine gets to sing has this beautiful moment when she sings about her son. Can you describe what that scene is like for us, and how you get in the mood to sing that song?
Oh, yeah. Well, again, there are many things that are going on in the show, which I'll leave for the show. But at this point, Francine is in a place of hope and in a place of, of dreaming for her son, with her son. And when you have a child who's in the forest because of who they are and because the town isn't perhaps ready, even though you know that they would love him, you find yourself, painting pictures and creating an ideal life of what is to come. And, I think one of Francine's biggest fears is what happens if I'm not there to be there to take care of Bigfoot. So, throwing out wishes, wishing on stars, thinking about, what things lie in store for him, but also knowing just how incredible he is, and knowing that no matter what, he will be fine. But also, hey, maybe there's more for him. So
Bigfoot also has a really heartfelt song called Day to Day, and we're going to play a little bit of a clip of it. Would you set it up for us?
Yeah, this is Bigfoot's I Want song that happens towards the beginning of the show. And it's him alone after he just got a visit from his mom and the doctor. And it's sort of just what he longs and hopes for, which is to belong and to have a normal life, to be a simple, everyday, not person, I guess, thing, being creature. Being creature, yeah.
Yeah, let's listen.
Can you imagine a 3-bedroom ranch, plain white picket fence, linoleum floors, a refrigerator full of expired condiments? I'd make a sandwich, clean my lint trap, have a mediocre cup of tea, and everyday humdrum life sounds so good to me. I long for the mundane, give me that day to day. If it bores you, I'll adore it, you won't hear me complain. I promise I'd survive it, I'd thrive with joy to spare.
When you were writing the songs and the music, did you follow the pace of musicals like The 11th Hour and the I Want songs?
So this show was written in 2014 as a part of a series called Serial Killers, where, 5 shows enter and 3 shows get voted on to next week. So we wrote this show 10 minutes at a time. So every 10 minutes of the show are 2 songs that we hope will get enough votes to vote us through next week. And that's why there are so many 11th hour songs in this show. Like, darn near every song is an 11th hour song. So we're just
keep going. Just keep going with it.
And then when we ended up with the show, I was like, how come every musical doesn't do this? Why we got to wait on one good song?
It's interesting.
Why can't every song just be a hit?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So we didn't want any vegetables in this mug. So every
You broke the mold a little bit.
every
Totally.
song is cotton
Hit
candy
after
for
hit.
sure.
Yeah.
All right, Amber, you told NPR, our friends, you said, Bigfoot in my mind is a black woman. Then I was like, Bigfoot in my mind is all LGBTQ. Then I was like, Bigfoot is an immigrant. That's a lot to take in.
Girl, that's how long it's been.
Yeah.
Wasn't 2014 a long time ago?
It was a long
But
time
I mean,
ago.
you know, as you're looking at the show, Bigfoot becomes, you know, whatever way in which you are othered, likely, as you're watching it. So as I was writing it, it's crazy because I was like, well, Bigfoot's mother is going to be white because I don't want a black woman worrying about the safety of her son. Then I was like, well, Bigfoot's going to be black because there's no way that Bigfoot can be anything other than black because of how severely Bigfoot is othered. And then just like everything came crashing down the past 10 years. And then I was like, I went around and round in circles about it. And then I thought, let's just have the people we love the most be everything. And then that's why everyone's cast and what they're cast in.
So Bigfoot gets a happy ending, Grey.
Oh, yeah.
Were you happy to see that it has a happy ending?
Yeah, of course. I think we're all rooting for that. I think we all want to belong in some way.
Why do you think audiences are ready for happy endings?
It's really hard not to make a joke about happy endings. Audiences are ready for a show that ends joyously.
Public radio.
Because
Public radio.
I didn't say anything. Because, we're really all hopeful that that's the way America is headed, right? We think that we are in, hopefully, every day I wake up and go, maybe this is the worst part of this administration. And then tomorrow I'll wake up and go, maybe this is the worst part of this administration. So I remain hopeful. And I think that very few things are honest about how bad it is and hopeful. And this show is both. And I hope that that combination is healing to people.
When you wear the suit, do you feel different?
I really do. I feel different when I look in the mirror. And then, you know, it's so funny. I forget that I look like that. And which I think is what's so beautiful about the character. Bigfoot's like, oh, what do you mean? I'm normal. Yeah. And then he sees how other people see him through their eyes. And so that's kind of the beauty of it. Because I also get lost in it. I forget. I look and move around like a massive person. I'm hitting people and I don't even know it. And so, I had that realization the other day. I was like, oh yeah, this is Bigfoot. He doesn't know. He's a weirdo, freak. Yeah.
But your eyes, you can really see your eyes.
Oh, that's so good that it reads.
that.
And also that's why the space we're in is so perfect. It's
Yeah.
300 seats maybe? It's intimate and it needs intimacy, this show.
Yeah.
That was my conversation with writer-creator Amber Ruffin and actors Crystal Lucas Perry and Grey Henson about Bigfoot, a new musical. It's running at New York City Center through April 26th, and it's nominated for Outstanding Musical at this year's Lucille Lortel Awards.